Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second episode of Coffee with Greg and Trev from G&T Wild.
Here's our coffee.
Here's our coffee. and this morning we're sitting in one of the hides on the estate that we're currently staying on, and we thought we would share. Well, Greg's going to share a story about a special connection that he had with cheetahs. And throughout our careers, we've had multiple connections with different wild animals, and it really is a special connection to have. So, Greg has a very special story to share with all of you. So, having said that, I'm going to hand over to Greg. Um, Take it away.
Yeah, so like Trev mentioned, we have these moments out in the wild. You're spending all your time with the animals, and you get to know them. Every animal has a different
Yeah,
personality, and you get to know them, and they get to know you. And I've always said that when you're working with animals, especially in our industry where you taking guests out and showing them wildlife.
mm,
The purpose of a safari is to go and observe those animals, and the best way to do that is to respect them. And when you give them respect, they give it back to you.
mm,
And you end up having these moments. So I've had it a few times in my career where, whether it was habituating leopards or lions, I worked with those lions in
yeah,
Salati,
yeah.
where you're working on a daily basis with individual animals, and you get to know one another, and these bonds form.
But having said that, you also do have some close encounters with those animals
You
in
do,
order for those bonds to form.
you do, you
You
do.
do have close
You
encounters. You
have
have mock
nervy
charges,
moments.
yeah, nerve-wracking moments, but then you also have moments of peace. But those bonds are created through moments. It's
Yeah.
the same with humans. You create a connection with the human through you either go through an emotional moment together, or you go through a traumatic experience, or whatever the case may, or you go through a happy moment together,
Mm.
and you connect through that. It's the same with animals. You connect through multiple ways.
Multiple ways, exactly. And but the base must be that you have that respect, I feel. And we both had the opportunity. I went to a reserve a few years before Trev, and he later came and joined me. But on this reserve, they had these wild cheetah,
Mm,
and they had habituated them to people being out on foot. And cheetah, being cheetah, they're not fighters, or they don't want to just kill you. They're not like a leopard or a lion that
they're
wants to
bottom of the
fight
food
first.
chain out of the predators,
Yeah,
basically. If
yeah.
you, to put it simple,
For them, flight is better than fight. They naturally quite elusive and shy because
mm,
of that. But now these cheetahs, in the area that they were the top predator, so they had nothing to fear, and they were habituated to people. So they didn't have
on
that.
foot,
Yes,
on foot,
they
yeah.
didn't have that fear
Mm,
of people. So
mm,
that allowed you to already be closer than what you would be, and on their level.
yeah, yeah.
And for me, that was something that I hadn't really experienced with cheetah. I'd been on foot with lions and leopards and things like that,
Mm,
but the cheetah I hadn't. And one of our friends that we work with, Mr. Nick Clear,
yeah.
he had been at this place, and he had spent lots of time with the cheetah, and he said to me, Greg, those cheetah, spend time with them. They special cats.
Special, yeah.
And so I did, and I ended up spending pretty much all my spare time with the cheetahs. If I
Yeah,
wasn't driving guests,
you're with the
I was
cheetahs,
with the
yeah,
cheetahs.
yeah.
And I mean, very quickly, I had one of the females actually take me into a den and introduce me to tiny new cubs. And in all my years of guiding, never experienced that.
Yeah.
Never ever
I don't
experienced
I
something
don't
like
think
that.
there's many guides out there that can say that. Even by vehicle, I was fortunate by a vehicle to be taken into a den site and be the first guide to see leopard cubs. Even that in its own is special, but I think your experience on foot, there's very few guys other than myself and Nick that can probably
Yeah,
say that.
yeah. You know, and I think that's an ultimate show of trust for that mother cheetah to take you into, because those dens are sacred places. You know, they hidden. I mean, that one in particular was in a swamp. You
Yeah,
know the den,
yeah, yeah,
because that
yeah.
also wasn't
It's
the first time that that happened.
yeah,
We were fortunate as brothers to go in
and see it.
and see it as well. We
Yeah,
had a female take
yeah,
us in, you know,
yeah.
and it was in the swamp, so it's a secretive place. It's well hidden. They don't want threats, you know. So her taking me in there was the ultimate show of
So,
trust.
so tell me, okay, because I also obviously having been there, I developed a relationship with the cheetahs as well. Like I could feel that connection. I knew I spent time with them. I knew my connection was different to yours. Still an incredible connection, but different to yours. When did you notice a change, or what did you notice, or what did you change in order to gain that trust?
So I paid a lot of attention to their behavior, what they did to each other in their different circumstances. So if they were wanting to play,
Mm.
what sounds did they make? You know, what did they do with
Yeah, yeah,
their
yeah,
eyes? Because
yeah.
I also believe, you know, a lot of people will tell you don't look at big cats in the eyes, don't make eye contact.
Mm.
And I've found, and this is through actually being out there, is the eyes really are the window to the soul, and that's how we can communicate.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
noticed that all the cats do a slow blink, even domestic cats,
Mm.
and that's a sign that they're actually chilled and they're relaxed.
Mm.
So I started when I was going into the cheetahs from a distance away. I'd take my sunglasses off my face
Mm.
that they could see my eyes, and I'd start doing the slow
So why?
blinks
So just I know the reason, but just for those watching, why would you take your sunglasses off completely?
so that they can see my eyes. They've got full contact with my eyes.
So if your sunglasses,
Sunglasses,
if you walked in there with your sunglasses on, what would their reaction be?
they wouldn't be able to see my slow blink. So automatically,
So you by essentially taking away one of their senses to identify the mood that you're in.
exactly, exactly. But you know, I also found when I went in, and instead of walking up to them and being imposing, if I got down onto their level and I slowly approached, I would be able to get a lot closer. You know,
Mm.
so it's all of those kind of things that I'd watch their behavior and what they would do and things like that, and I started doing it myself.
Mm.
And
Mm.
through that, they accepted me. And you know, through all the time that I spent with them, there was not one time where I felt, yo, I'm in danger now. You know, this
Yeah, yeah,
is,
like it's a threat. Like
it's a
I've put
threat.
myself in a bad position. I need to remove
Exactly,
myself. I've gone too far this time.
exactly. But I must say, I left a lot of proximity up to them.
But
It
one thing,
wasn't me forcing my way onto them. I would rather give them their space, and if they approached me on their terms, then it would be a
but
different
I
story.
think the understanding also, what was very noticeable to me is, for example, the mother with youngsters, is you'd spend time with her, and it was a clear for you and I would be able to pick it up. More often than not, it would be you before me, but she would do something and get up and move, and you would know it's our time, guys. And we
Yeah.
would turn around and we would, and even though she's completely relaxed and you could follow her longer, and she would do something that we would then be like, okay. And sometimes you and I would come together and be like, okay, that's it.
Yeah,
We done.
and it's not a negative thing. It
No,
would
no, no.
literally be, and that's why I say, you know, you almost get to know them so well that you can communicate with them, and you know, when she gets up and turns away this time, that's her saying, "We're good."
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you get
It's
to
just
know them
the
on
different
such a
body
level.
movements and all of that. Because I mean, you got to the point where the mom would leave the youngsters with you when she went off hunting,
Exactly. Again and again,
and how,
trust.
yeah.
She's leaving her
She
precious little
doesn't know. She
babies.
doesn't know what you can. You could do anything to those youngsters.
Yeah,
You could, if a big male water comes running along and wants to attack those things, she's entrusting you that you're going to chase that warthog
and I
away.
did. There was times where I did. You know, I remember there was
Yeah.
times where I'm literally lying napping in the shade. Mom's off hunting, and next thing a warthog comes bursting out of a burrow amongst us. I didn't know there was a burrow there.
Yeah.
And the warthog's out, and it's cheetah scattering, it's me scattering. The warthog doesn't know what's going on, but I must chase that warthog because it's a threat.
Yeah.
you know, and I did it,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
you have, and that's where you say you have these moments, because you can see, I mean, I saw after those moments the young cheetahs then see you as a protector.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when something like that happens, they automatically come to you and think, okay, he's going to protect us.
Mm.
And you
Mm.
know, it's those moments that build the trust
Mm.
and build the respect between the
Mm.
two. And I mean, mom will also know, they'll be able to communicate. And I'm sure those cubs would have said to mom, yo, he helped us today,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
big time.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. We all got the fright of our lives. We all scattered, including him, but he came
but he
running
came
back
back.
and he made
He
sure we
came
were
back,
fine, Mom. So, just
you
so
know.
that you
So
know, that's what happened.
I mean, I had, there was so many incredible moments with those cheetah. I mean, there was a time I remember once where one of the older females, also when she had three youngsters, she had killed a big blessed buck, but it was really late in the morning, so it was
Mm,
hot.
mm.
And just the open plains, the closest shade was probably about 80 meters away. And I went and I dragged that blessed buck,
Mm.
and the little youngsters ran to the shade like they were waiting for me to deliver it.
And a blazebuck's not
It's
a
heavy,
light animal to
and I'm
drag.
dragging this thing, and it's hot. And next thing, the mom came and she grabbed the blessbuck by its throat and helped me. She didn't attack me
Yeah, I
for
remember you
handling her
told
meat.
that's
She grabbed it,
yeah.
and there her and I both dragged that carcass up
So you can
to
see
the
the
shade.
teamwork and the appreciation.
You know, and
Like
then
as much, you don't want to humanize things, but you can appreciate things through body movements, through noises,
yeah,
through eye contact. Like you said, I agree. You've got to have that eye contact with the predator, no matter what predator it is. You know what mood you can see. You can work out what each other are thinking just through that eye contact. And it's not it's you don't want to humanize it, but the thing is the signs are it's noticeable. You can see it clearly. You can see what's happening. You feel it. I mean, that feeling, we speak about it often, that feeling that you have, that connection when you're with those animals, it's impossible to explain that connection, but you are connected. Your energies are the same. You're matching each other's energy, and it is incredible.
and it's something that you don't experience when you're watching animals from a vehicle, I feel. You know,
Yeah.
part of it was being down on the ground with them. You leave your vehicle behind, and I mean, there were the days where we walked for kilometers
Ran.
and ran. We even ran. You know, the thing is, you're walking with the cheetah. Next thing, he has springbuck or blessbuck, and the hunt's on, and you
And
running
running,
after
and
them,
yeah, and you
and you look
immersed.
back, and your car's now gone, and it's getting dark, and you have to walk back. You know, but you have all those
Those
experiences that
experiences, yeah.
you don't get. I mean, I was walking with the cheetah once, and she came across an art wolf, and it was my first art wolf that I'd ever seen.
Mm.
I saw it alive for 5 minutes, and that was it. Then she killed it, but I'm on foot with it, you know. So
And
those
you
kind of
immersed, and you're
things.
having no impact.
It's something that I don't think even people that are in this industry for their whole life, it's things that I don't think many people experience.
Yeah,
And
true,
you know, I think
true.
also the main thing is um, that I don't think that proximity necessarily can be a bad thing the whole time. I think if it's done with respect, that
Because you are aware of the risks that you're taking,
yeah,
but you're also trusting your gut. You're trusting your experience. I mean, between us, we've got over 45 years of experience in the industry and working with
exactly.
animals. So you're trusting all of that. So just to wrap this whole thing up, what does what do those animal connections like the cheetah, the first thing that comes to your mind when what does it represent to you when you have those moments? What does that give you? Just to describe to everyone how special that connection is. Like peace, tranquility. Like what no,
I think it is peace, because you know I would find myself, it didn't matter if I had a bad day or if I was tired or whatever. If I was with those cats,
mm,
I would just find myself sitting there smiling,
mm,
you know. And I think that's peace. But also, you know, that connection that I had with those cats, if I look at my time that I spent with them, which was almost 5 years, I saved each one of those cats
In one way or
individually
another.
in one way or another. So that's a massive role that I played for conservation in saving, in cheetah conservation and saving that species.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
me, that feeling, so it's the piece of having
But
that bond.
that's not why you did it.
No, that
You did
was
it
just
for
a
the you did
byproduct.
it for the
Passion,
passion
passion. I
and the
love the big
peace.
cats, and I found being with them, I found my peace.
So just to wrap it up, it's reading animal behavior, being out on bush, in the bush, immersing yourself amongst wildlife equals peace.
It equals peace. More people should do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. I love hearing that story. It never gets old. It really is an incredible
It's my
connection that
pleasure.
Greg had. And yeah, I think episode 3, I will maybe share an exciting story that happened to me in the past. But with that said, thank you so much, Greg. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Hope that you all have a wonderful morning and day ahead.
Thank you
Thanks for
for listening.
watching.